Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So, sister, do not throw your husband under the fucking bus. I was on Facebook this morning and came across a post of someone that was talking about, well, what she was talking about is really irrelevant, but there was like a passive-aggressive comment at the beginning of her husband, and you know, it was loud and stuff and not respectful and stuff, and I was like, I'm looking, and then it went on to something different, which is kind of like a business conversation. I'm looking at it and I'm like, dude, sister, like, not fucking cool, right? Now let's explore this right now, okay? Let's explore this. Because you might be thinking right now, you're like, hey Karen, listen to the podcast. I've heard you talk about shit with your husband, right? But here's the deal. It, I think, is amazing and necessary to have real conversations about marriage. I had a recent podcast episode that came out, it was like, marriage is harder than parenting. Parenting's hard as shit, man. I don't want to mean to like discount that whatsoever, because I get that too, man. It is fucking hard being a parent. But to me, there's almost like there's a different layer with marriage where it's like we kind of go with the kids. We're like, well, they're kids are trying to figure shit out. We're like, man, you're a grown-ass adult, right? There's more layers to pieces. There's past things that happens. There's ideas about love and like there's a whole bunch. Go listen to podcasts. I'll actually put this reference in the show notes. But passive-aggressive, you know, backhanded comments, or just a straight out fucking like just body slam with your words on Facebook is not fucking cool. Now listen, I understand if you're going through stuff within your marriage. I still do at times. We have conflict. We are not afraid to go to war with each other. We were not afraid to push each other, to hold ourselves accountable, to take ourselves together to a bigger space, to really rise individually and together as a couple in our marriage. And that means that it's not going to be, you know, smooth sailing. It's not. If we wanted that kind of a marriage where we numb and everything's kind of okay, and then every once in a while somebody explodes, like that was the former existence. It was fine. This wasn't what we want now. But this, you know, back in, and listen, this is, I can give you an example of Facebook post, but to me, that's also like bitching about your fucking husband. Like, I have 2 Facebook groups that I run, one which is actually a free group. It's called the Women Wanting More Experience. You can definitely request to be added to the group. Just go up to Facebook, type in Women Wanting More Experience, and I usually honor requests within about 24 hours or less sometimes. And then I have a group coaching program called The Sister, which is actually run through a Facebook platform. Now, in both of the groups, there are agreements, right? The agreements. There's a code of conduct within the group. And I found for women, it can definitely get to the point of like, let me fucking bash men. And I have zero tolerance for that. Like, I literally have kicked women out of the group. Like, I've challenged and I've said, hey, it's not okay. They're like, well, what's the one okay with the? I'm just like, you're fucking deleted, you're blocked, get the fuck out. I have no tolerance, because there is no fucking value in that. He's an asshole, but maybe he is an asshole, but you know what? You were fucking in that with him. There's a part for you to play, and that's hard fucking shit to swallow, isn't it? Because what if he cheated? What if he has not been showing up as a man in your marriage? As a husband, as the husband you want? What if he's not showing up as a father for his children? If he is actually being an asshole? Then that's for you to have the face-to-face, eyeball-to-eyeball conversation and to work your shit out and to learn from each other. And I think far too often people fucking hide in these fucking passive, like that shit just makes me insane. That is bullshit. That is weak. Because it takes courage to confront. You have to be brave to say, you know what? I'm going to fucking bare my soul and say, I need this, sweetheart, from you. What do you need from me? I don't like the way that things are going right now. Let's work on this. I'm committed to you. half of the world, if not more, because what's the divorce rate now? 56%? They're like, fuck, this is too hard, I'm out. Marriage number 2, marriage number 3, marriage. Oh, it's them. Really? Because the common denominator and all that shit is actually you. This is not a conversation about blame. This is a conversation really about ownership and responsibility. If you're not happy with the way that things are going on in life, there's no passive aggressive, there's no sarcasm. I've taught my son about sarcasm. And I think sarcasm is something that we go to and we kind of use like joking and stuff at times. And I think there's a time and a place for it, right? But I notice I go there with my kids sometimes. I'm like, you know what, Tyson? Like, thanks a lot, buddy. That's really not cool. And he's like, that's sarcasm, Mom. And I'm like, you're right, bud. It is. I'm just going to tell you what I mean. Because that's like, it's confusing, right? Tyson, like, he's 7. He's a smart fucking kid. But, like, he understands the nuance of that now, right? It's not so easy for kids sometimes. You're like, thanks so much. Like, it's an easy, reactive, explosive way to communicate with people versus saying, hey, you know what, Tyson? That actually, Mommy doesn't like that. Or we had an agreement about something and you didn't follow through. Or, the words you're saying right now of like, I hate you, and you, like, the explosiveness that can still be my son at times, like the way that he was even 3 months ago, 4 months ago is dramatically different. As we work with him more and more and more and have these real conversations, right? But he's right. He's right when he calls me on it. It's like, no, sarcasm's not okay. We say what we mean. It's not powerful to do that. That's a weak-ass fucking form of communication, sarcasm. So is it being passive-aggressive. Kind of similar, right? Kind of similar. I find that, passive-aggressive, the tone of that has a lot more, like, anger in it. Rage. Like under the surface fucking resentment, frustration of, like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. But it's like you're toning it down. And then it comes out in these snarky fucking comments. Not powerful. Not powerful. So when you do these things and you throw your husband under the bus, what I really see in that, and what that really means, here's the truth of what this means. I'm afraid to actually have a real fucking conversation. So I'm going to be not powerful and I'm going to show up this way. Weak. Let's go there. Fucking bitch. Naggy wife. And I'm going to say these passive aggressive shit. And I'm going to fucking throw them under the bus on Facebook. On Facebook. Because I lack the courage. I lack the fucking, the lady gonads, the lady balls to fucking say, you know what? Let's have a conversation. Because that's hard. Because that takes courage. Because that takes vulnerability. Sarcasm, it's like a shield, right? For vulnerability. It's like, imagine like holding a shield. It's got a big S on it. It says sarcasm. Blocking. It's blocking real in your life. Passive aggressive comment. Same shit. Same shit. Don't throw your husband under the bus. If you have things that you need to talk about and work out about, and understand it could take some time. Well, he's not willing, so I'm just gonna, if he doesn't come forward, then I won't. Really? That's shit that my 4 and my 7-year-old pulls because they're fucking kids. What the fuck is your excuse? I won't do it until he does it. So not powerful. Sister, it's up to you. It's up to you. Well, he did this to me. He did this. Okay. Maybe there's something else for you to see. I'll have you just try that thing on. Maybe there's something for you to see in this. Maybe you tolerated. That sucks, right? Maybe you tolerated. But it's a deserving thing. Maybe you were a piece of it. That sucks, right? Sucks when it comes to something like infidelity. My dad cheated on my mom. We found out later my dad had a head injury. I was like 21 years old when all the skeletons came out of the closet as he's in a coma. And I talked to my mom about it about a year ago. I was angry at my dad for so fucking long. Fucking asshole. Even angry at my mother. Angry at my mother. What kind of a woman fucking stays? I've known A lot of women that have been through and worked through infidelities in their marriages and are strong ass fucking women, I see it very different now. Very different now. Becoming a mother, I see it very different now. And so we had a really raw conversation about it. And my mom said to me, and she's like, you know what, Karen? No, this is like, decades later, right? Oh gosh, we were little. This was probably 45 years ago when it first happened, that I know of, and there might have been others, but, it's not relevant right now. She said, Karen, I take some responsibility for what happened. I wasn't there for your father that way. And she means sexually. I wasn't available for him. I didn't know how to talk about these things. Sweetheart, there was no social media. There wasn't books about this stuff like there is. There's just, I didn't know what to do. I was afraid. And I had 3 little kids. So, she could take a look at that and say, hey, man, you cheated on me with a fucking student. My dad was a math teacher. I'm sure she went to the place of anger and rage. I would. She had every right to, right? And then you did it again with a close family friend. Like, what the fuck? But my mom, powerful woman, that she's probably always been, but I just didn't see it until now. Isn't that crazy, right? She saw her role in it. She saw it. Not a blame. Accepting responsibility for it. So when you throw your husband under the bus, sister, you're not owning shit. You're showing up not powerful. I'm going to say it, weak. Don't be that, sister. I know it's fucking hard to have these conversations. I get it. I know he might not be willing. Hold space, be patient. You fucking work on you in the meantime. But do not throw him under the bus. You don't need to do that. And here's the bigger question of this. Is the way that you're showing up that way, passive aggressive, posting stuff, bitching to your girlfriends, just spinning around in circles, is it getting you what you want? See, if that actually gets you results in your life, and by the way, I mean this. I suddenly realize as I'm saying this could be construed as passive aggressive. It's not, but seriously, if the way that you are now showing up in your life, in your marriage, with this passive aggressive or sarcasm, if that actually gets you the results and what you want in your marriage, fantastic. But I doubt that's happening. The sarcasm, the passive aggressive is pain, is unwillingness to confront situations, is maybe sadness and pain, and you felt hurt and so you want to fucking hurt back. Don't do that. Don't be like my 4 and my 7-year-old. You know better, sister. You know better. So here's what I want you to do as your more tip for today. Take out your journal. You don't have to be married for this, by the way. But if you are married, I want you to write this up at the top. This is going to be a fucking tough one. Because I used to do this with my husband. Why do you think when I have these conversations, so many of you say to me oh my God, how did you fucking know? Because I've been there, sister. I've been you. I've been where you are. That's why I created this fucking message in this movement. Let me connect with other women to let them know that you are not alone, that there's other women that think like you, that I've been where you've been and out the other end. And there's a way to get what you fucking want in your life and to create a life of more. So at the top of your journal page, you're going to write this. This is how I've thrown my husband under the bus. And you're going to start writing. This is how I've thrown my husband under the bus. And you're going to start writing. Now, if you're not married, pick somebody else within your life. I can tell you right now, there's somebody else that is close to you that triggers you or that you get pissed about. It could be your mother. It could be your kids. It could be your ex. It could be your sister, brother, friend, business partner, client. This is how I've thrown my husband. Or if you're not married, so we're going to say, husband, boyfriend, partner, right? Kind of roll it all into one. If you're not married, another person you pick and write and see what insights you really get from that. And here's the second piece of this when you're journaling. What action will I take from this? Now you might take a look at it and just be in a place where it's like, you're pissed, man. You don't want to fucking, I don't want to come fucking apologize. I don't want to have these conversations. Like, I get it. Like, you might not be ready for that yet. Don't force what you are unwilling to do. You can't go through the motions with this shit. You have to want it. So what is the action that I will do from this? And take that action in the next 24 hours, if not immediately. You got this, sister. This is a big one today. There's going to be a lot of feelings, a lot of fucking emotions, a lot of shit that comes up. Good. You need this. You need this. So for those of you listening, sister, if you're like, man, it's like, there's other women that are like me. Like, how do I create this? How do I do this? It's hard to do this work on your own. I give you more tip every single episode, but it just is. It's fucking hard to do this on your own. It is. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go over to the Sisterhood and sign up for your free 7-day free trial. It is a group coaching program. It is ridiculously inexpensive, but you get to try it for free for the first 7 days. There's no reason to not fucking be in and to see the value within the group, currently at 102 women from around the world. So head over to drkarenosburn.com/sisterhood. So drkarenosburn.com/sisterhood. You can sign up for your 7-day free trial. In addition, I created something recently talking about journaling called the More Journal System. It is a system to help you either get from a place of, I don't know how to journal, to teach you how. Like, I have no fucking clue. Or from, I journal, but I'm inconsistent. Or to, I journal every single day, but I get 0 results. This is a system I created that gets you results, insights, and revelations every single fucking day with your journaling. So for that, and right now it is, well, as I record this at least, there's 10 left. I actually expanded it. There was 50. Women got the first 50 pretty quickly at the special pre-launch price. And then the next tier will go up. But I opened up for 10 more spots at the pre-launch. So that might still be you, sister. So head over to drkarenosburn.com. And if you're on your show notes, you can actually just click on the link and that'll take you right to it. So that's at drkarenosburn.com/how-to-journal. So I will talk on the next episode. A life of more is just one step away from you doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.